Hey everyone, welcome back to Painted. I'm Maury Curtis Dunbar. It is Thursday. I'm looking at my calendar, April 23rd. Sorry, the days tend to blur, so I consider it fortunate that I know what day of the week it is, let alone the day of the month. So we're going to work on finishing up some projects. Last week's lives between Artistic Painting Studio and here in our studio, we started a chicken, a pig, we started all kinds of stuff going on. So we're gonna finish up a couple projects and start some new one. Hi Sabrina, nice to see you. And we're gonna get right into it right away. Although I will ask everybody to please sprinkle the love. Use that sprinkle button because Facebook doesn't like the other S word, but we're trying to grow our community. It allows me to do contests. And if we get enough people showing up on lives and get enough shares, oh my goodness, I actually said the S word that I wasn't supposed to say, but if we get enough sprinkles, we can start doing contests again and things like that. So we're gonna start with the finishing up of our chicken. Hey Sabrina, glad you got to be able to watch too. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera down and we're gonna get right into working. So first, here's our chicken. And I had done a foil. I painted it spruce green metal glow, then I released our Serengeti foil over it, stenciled through with with our texture medium in the lettering, and then we're going to do the same with the little bird's nest that I put on the side. And if you're not familiar with it, this is our Artsyville texture medium, and it's sort of like marshmallow fluff. Now I don't know what you're going to see when I open this up because I put plastic down to the surface, I put plastic over the top. But this is what it looks like. It looks like marshmallow fluff and it trowels that way. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take a little bit of this on our trowel, and really just a little. I don't need a lot. Oh, it's sticky today, everything's gummy. And this, by the way, is our little Japanese trowel, and I'm gonna shove the camera angle up just a little bit so you can see it better. And even with an adhesive, and I cut these on my Cricut maker, but if you have other adhesive stencils, Modelos, things that you've had privately cut, this all works the same way. I've applied it to the surface and I'm just scraping a little bit of texture medium through. I did it very thin here because I wanted it to be sort of rustic and older looking, so I'm kind of doing the same thing with the nests. I don't want it super thick. And I'm just trowel it back. Now, if I was really concerned, I would have put tape along the edges here so that there wasn't a chance. I smeared a little here, but I was able to pick it up really quickly with my fingers. Oh yeah, neat. Artsyville products are awesome. I love their products. That's why, of course, I carry them. And I love this little trowel. It's really nice to work with for little surfaces. Now, I've had other little ones that didn't work as well. This one is a dream to work with. And then we're gonna just peel. I wanna trowel that back. It's a little thicker there than I wanted it. Take it off, trowel it back in the container. Move my trowel over and see if I've got it as even and smooth as I want it. And I pretty much do, except right there. It's a little thin. And then we're just gonna pull up our little bird's nests. And when this is dry, it just needs a top coat. And it really does have to have a top coat because the foil adhesive, while it's covered in foils, will stay permanently sticky without top coating. Now, if you wanted the letters to stay dull, super dull, and not be the same sheen as the background, then you top coat the foil before you put the plaster on and let it dry. Now you can see this is much whiter than the plaster, the texture medium that's already on there, and that's because the other texture medium has dried fully. And I love this. I think this is, I mean, what a cute little sign. It says, "Life is better in the country." How cute is that? We carry the chickens, we carry the foils, we carry the paints, we carry the plaster. So you got a lot of things. All you need is your Cricut maker or some stencils. You got a great little sign here. All right, I'm gonna set that to the side over here. Actually, give me a minute. I'm gonna run back and put it in the hot box. and take a gaze at our next project, the pineapple. And I get this question every time I do a live when somebody hears me say I'm putting something in the hot box. What's a hot box? A lot of teaching studios have a hot room to put things up. Yes, these are wood. These are all cut out of wood. All of them are cut out of wood. We have pineapples. We have cupcakes. Hang on just a second. Ooh, I just stuck my fingers in something gooey. We have crowns. We have little tiny wooden trucks. We have little gift tags. We have this gorgeous cross. We have a happy sun with his sunglasses. And we've got our little cute cat. I love all of these. These are so cute. And of course you saw the chicken. Oops, I'm dropping things. And you saw, about to see the pig, because I just realized I need to set these aside and finish the pig first. No starting new things until I've finished up the old. So here's our little pig from the other day. Now I had used Stain and Seal. It was a combination of colonial green and teal to get this background color. I used our Artsyville gel medium that I tinted with Primary Elements metallic pigments, and did the stencils, one in brown, and then this was a custom blue color I mixed. But it's a little heavy light right now. So I'm gonna take some Stain and Seal in pickling white. Okay, let me get this on here. Okay, nothing wants to open for me today. Stain and Seal in pickling white. Whoa, good thing I didn't spill any. And then let me mix it up because this has been sitting on my shelf for a while, so it has separated. I don't stain constantly, so things like stains can sit around for a while, and if they separate, it's not a big deal. As long as you can mix it back up, you're fine. Now, pickling white is obviously white. So we're gonna take a little pickling white. Here's my containers. And you can see I cover all my containers with plastic because once you've opened them and air gets to them, it shortens the shelf life. So if I want them to last longer, I put plastic preferably to the surface. And then we're gonna take a little FX thinner. Sorry, I got a text message that just cracked me up, caught me, and I thought I turned off my messaging. FX thinner is a product designed specifically to mix into Stain and Seal. And you can see it's very liquid. And what it does is it allows the Stain and Seal to be thinned enough to penetrate in instead of just sitting like paint on top of the surface. So it really makes it a better stain. And it's one of my favorite things to do. Now I'm gonna make a mixture that's more FX thinner than it is pickling white because I want my white to be subtle. And of course, you know, the FX thinner is whitish being an acrylic product, so it's gonna be hard pressed to see how well I mixed it, especially for you guys looking at my camera. So, but I got it pretty well mixed. So hang on just a second, let me grab some cheesecloth. All right, gotta make sure I have my cheesecloth. So what we're gonna do is gonna take our little piggy, and we're gonna take a nice wash brush. I always get asked this. I use these brushes to paint furniture. Hell, I've used brushes like this to paint a wall. I find that they're a better brush. And everybody's gonna go, oh no, you're making that cute blue pig white. What the heck are you doing? Well, That's the joys of stain and seal. And FX thinner. I can put this on, and the FX thinner extends the open time, so I have plenty of time to work with this and then wipe it back as much as I want. And I'm also going around the edges because I didn't do a whole lot with the edges before. I gotta let the edges be. I really don't want to do that. Get the whole thing done. Some of you probably worked with stain and seal before and never worked with FX thinner, and you're saying, you're letting it dry. It's getting too dry. You won't be able to do anything. Yeah, I will. I promise you I will. And if I need to, I can come back in and do more. I can go around the edges more, fix the legs, make sure I get all these edges done, because I'm really just sort of slopping right now, not doing a very careful job. And then I'm going to take a couple pieces of cheesecloth, make myself a little wiping pad. I love this cheesecloth. It's lint-free, super clean, pre-cut. Now, I can leave it white like that, which in itself is super cute. I mean, look how cute that is like that. Or I can come in with a little bit and I can punch up the edges a little bit and make them a little whiter. Bit more streakiness in my stain. Normally that's not something you would ever hear me say, but I'm going for rustic and kind of country, so that means I need to be a little uneven. Oh, and all that noise you hear, we're having road construction right now, which I think is brilliant to be doing it when nobody can be out on the roads, but it also means it's a little loud right outside my studio. Look how cute that is. Oh, I so like that. It also means that we are still doing business, obviously. We're here. Selling architectural coatings makes us an essential business, so we can stay open and take care of you. And we might actually have a UPS delivery happening because I'm waiting on them. They're normally here in the morning, but I know there's supposed to be stuff being delivered, so don't be surprised if you hear me say, hey, welcome, come on in, drop the package there. All right, so and part of what I'm doing is I'm actually watching this on camera and seeing where I think I want it, because it looks different when you're close up to something than when you're far away. But look how sweet that pig is. And it just, flower market, very cute. Very cute indeed. All right, I'm gonna go, whoops, try not to throw things on the floor, because that's what I do. And then I'm gonna go pop this into the, I'm gonna pop this into the hot box. People keep texting me and I think it's something important and then it ends up being spam. So yes, my little hot box is a hydroponic tent in the back where I heat things up and speed their drying times. All right, so the next thing we're gonna work on is our pineapple. Now I'm gonna start with the front side, but I will have done both sides by the time I'm done. This has been primed with Faux Effects Old World Finishing Paint, which is a mineral-based paint, and it seals the grain once it's dry, and then I can give it a light sand, and it is sands like velvet, but it can leave a little dust behind. And then I can I can paint this and plaster on this without having to worry that I'll pop the grain, which is a big concern when you're working on raw wood. So I'm gonna set that to the side. I don't know where my roll of tape went. I had it, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna just paint freehand today. If I can't find it, I'll figure out something else. So we're gonna start with Metal Glow, Faux Effects Metal Glow in Spruce. I need to be able to see what I'm doing instead of receiving notifications. That's not helping my screen. All right, so I'm putting this where you all can see it. I'll move these jars out of the way so you can actually see what I'm doing. So the first part I'm doing, I will not be painting this until later, but I'll paint the top half of this now. You can't see it, but I sketched a little line here so I have a place of demarcation. I'm not worrying if it's a perfect line right there. I just want to make sure I stop it in the right place. And this may take 2 coats of green to get it the right green. It might not, because I think I'm probably going to foil over this. I have lots and lots of ideas. I always do. And you see I'm trying to get along the edges. And some of our cutouts, they're doing a new technique where the edges have been laser burned, so that actually makes a nice clean edge to it. Much more finished looking edge than a raw edge, which I like. It's something they just started. So some of our cutouts have a raw edge, some of them have a laser edge. And honestly, I'm not separating them out in the stacks, because as soon as we're finished with all the ones with the raw edge, they'll start cutting them all with laser edge. And in the long run, other than initial appearance and sanding, makes no difference. So you can see I'm sort of brushing this to go in the pattern of the palm fronds, because eventually when I lay foil or anything else, my brush strokes will matter. So you can see that my brush strokes go with the palm fronds. Okay, we're gonna go put this back in the hot box. I'll be right with you. And then the last one we're gonna start is a cupcake. And I might just move some things a little bit so that I'm not putting my fresh cupcake on dirty paint paper. I'll get myself a clean piece of paper to put right here, or I'll pull the one that's on the side here over. See, I tried to plan a little better. Of course, I've still got a million things everywhere. Me and my famous last words, I tried. Let's make sure everything's dry before I set this cupcake down on it, because again, like I said, we're gonna probably be doing both sides. And this one has also been primed with Old World finishing paint to seal the grain. I drew a line that even I can't see right across here to demark the top of the cupcake from the bottom. But the next thing we're gonna do, and this is a brand new jar, so we're gonna paint the bottom with Faux Effects Set Coat Metallic Red, which I just love this. First of all, I love Set Coat Metallics. I'm, you know, the fact of the matter is I love metallics. I think I was born part magpie. I like anything that's a bright, shiny object. So if it's glittery and shiny, I'm gonna like it. tape. You can see it's a very new jar because my old jar dried really hard. I didn't put the lid on it. My own fault. All right, I'll make sure I'm shaking up. Now, set coat is never shaken on a shaker because if you shake it too much, the consistency changes to pudding. There's nothing wrong with it. It still works fine. If you stir it up, the pudding consistency goes away. But I really didn't feel like dealing with it to begin with. So let me form a little skin on the top. Happens sometimes, not a problem. I just want to get it out of the way. That happens. More than anything, it just makes a mess that I have to wash my hands from. I think maybe now might be the moment to put a glove on because now that I've got red paint on my hands, I really don't want to get it all everywhere on the cupcake. I don't care about it on my hands as much as I care about getting it in the wrong spot here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint down here. This, and we're just going to lay in a base color. And if you notice, I'm going back, I'm smoothing out my brush strokes, trying to keep them all in one direction for the final pass. Although there's going to be a slight, let me get my brushes out of the way. Thank you, Cynthia. Hi, Carol, nice to see you there. Sabrina, it was good to have you for as long as you were able to pop in with us. I just want to make sure I get every spot. Don't forget anything. Now, smart people, let me do be smart ones. I'm going to get my edges while I'm still sitting here instead of doing it later, because that's what I normally do. Now again, we're going to be doing foil and other stuff over this, so this is truly just an initial base coat of color. And then we're gonna do another color up here. And you're really getting some of this stuff really beginning to end with me. Normally I'm trying to skip the steps that aren't that interesting, but sometimes people don't understand what happens without those beginning steps. Needed to get one more brush so that I could come back. And then on the top, we are going to paint. You can't read it on the jar. Sorry, I've had this for a while, spilled on it a million times. This is Set Coat Metallic Snow, which is a metallic white. And it really is white. It's not golden white. It's not got gold highlights or any other color in the highlight. It is white that is metallic. I'm getting all my edges. I think this cupcake is such a cute shape. Next couple days, we're going to be doing designs on all of the new cutouts that I brought in so that you can have techniques and surfaces. And if you want, we'll make you a kit. You can replicate some of the ideas. But making one of each of these, for me, allows me to see how much product each thing requires and how complex my idea actually is versus how simple I think it is. I always think things are easier than they are, which I suppose is a positive trait, an uplifting kind of thing. At least that's what I tell myself. And I'm not worried too much if I get a little smear on the edge here, and you'll see why in a little bit. And as you notice, I brushed vertically for the cupcake base because those paper cups that hold cupcakes have the vertical ridges. And then I brushed sort of an organic horizontal here because frosting has swirls. Everything I do, the way I brush, generally has a reason. I say that knowing full well sometimes stuff I do is completely random and I'm completely guessing at it. I'm going in, you can see with my fingers, making sure all the edges are cleaned out in there because I don't want any weird gunky buildup. Set that aside. This is going into the hot box and we'll bring our pineapple back out. Okay, now this hasn't been in here in the hot box very long, but about 15 minutes worth of time in a hot box is close to an hour of drying time. So I just need to check and make sure that there's dry surface for me to be able to put a little piece of tape on and not ruin this. And then I can always go back and touch this up if I need to. But I do need to start with tape on this. I have got paint all over my hands today. I am making huge messes today, but it feels really fun. Okay, now I'm not putting this tape down hard because this paint is very fresh. And you see, it's too soon. All right, so let me go touch up this spot. I was afraid that might be the case. Oh, I'm bummed. I was afraid of that. This is what happens. You try to push things and sometimes they push back. So I'm gonna put that with a little water over there to fill that in. I'll go in with a little more paint. And I think what we're just gonna do, we might call this time for now, and then I'll come back on in a little while and we can do some more. It's probably smarter if I just let everything dry a little bit. I don't mind making the mistakes, A, because I think we all learn from mistakes, and B, if I make the mistakes, you see why, and then you don't have to. I just do them for you. How's everybody doing? Are you doing? I have had a couple of virtual happy hours with the lockdown. You know, the nice thing is I've actually connected in years because of the shutdown and putting together, you know, online happy hours. And it's just been, some of this has been, you know, don't get me wrong. I am more than a little aware of how serious this is, and people who know me well know I don't take it at all lightly. I'm a very high-risk person myself, but there have been some benefits, and one of them has been connecting with people I haven't seen in many, many years, and doing it over Facebook, and then getting to see more of my family at Easter than I ever have before, because normally we're not in the same city, but we got to do that way. All right, so I'm gonna put this back in the hot box. That'll be back and flip the camera up. Okay, oops, get this up a little higher. All right, so that's the start of our life, or start of our project. I'm gonna clean up the mess in front of me. I'll probably be back on in an hour or so. We're gonna do the next step, but I'll have cleaned all this mess up and I'll be able to find a clean surface instead of, oh, I don't know, pulling tape off my shoe. Oh, the life of an artist. Anyway, I will see you all back here in a little bit. Keep an eye out. We'll be live. You can see how we're going with the pineapple and with the cupcake. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.